Hi, guys. Welcome to Inspirational Journeys Through Life with Straight Talk with Nolan. I have a journey. You have a journey. But how many of us share our inspirational journeys to help others through life? Our journeys are authentic, and we know you will resonate with it. I am your host, Nolan Pillay, and today I am humbled and honored to speak to Maggie Naidoo from the Believe in Corp Training Center. You better keep your tissues closed because this is one story you would love to hear and resonate with. So, Maggie Naidoo is a woman who spends her life using her personal and career experiences to help her clients overcome negative emotional experiences such as depression, anger, sadness, fear, guilt, and conflict, just to name a few. She provides her clients with the tools and support they need to take back control of their lives, venture out and live their lives easily and effortlessly, reaching for goals they set for themselves. She is also a survivor of some extreme traumatic episodes, such as sexual molestation, rape, physical, emotional, and verbal abuse. I told you, keep your tissues ready. Also becoming a widow herself. As you can see, Maggie has personal experience of how post-traumatic stress affects every facet of one's life, including our loved ones as well. So Maggie, welcome to Inspirational Journeys Through Life. I'm grateful that you are here to share your inspirational journey with us. And at this point, please tell us a little more about you and your business.
Thank you, Nolan. Thank you very much for having me. Well, like you said in the intro, life has happened. Life happens and things happen to you just beyond your control. You just cannot control what happens most times. Trauma is something that everybody goes through. Not everybody wants to admit that they have trauma, and they live their lives in that little bubble. I decided that when all of these things happened to me, enough was enough. I needed to get out of this concrete house that I built for myself that did not have windows and doors. It does not have cracks around it. That is how solidly I built this wall around me. It had a roof that I couldn't even have air to come in to breathe at some point. And that was the limit for me. I had to break free from that in order to be Maggie again. And that is how Believe Incorporated started, because I didn't believe in me in the beginning. I didn't believe that I had a right. I didn't believe that I had a life. I didn't believe that I had choices. And when I realized that I am the power, that I am this source of energy, that I am this human being that deserves better, I started literally, like somebody scraping a little piece off the wall with your fingernails, bearing the pain. But I did it because I knew I needed to get out there. That's how Believe started. I believed I deserved better. I believed that I deserve more. So for me, it was, if I can do this, anybody can, because I am just a normal human being, just like everybody else. I didn't need accolades to be where I was or to become who I was. I am a normal human being who deserves the best. I believed that about me, and I believed that was the best for me. And that is what I strived to do. And that is what I do now.
Wow, that's amazing.
You took me on a trip.
I see that as well. And, that's what we resonate with, right? Just understanding and being there, like kind of living your story. And that's so important for listeners, because there's so many people out there that go through this and they don't know how to get help. But here's somebody like Maggie who's been there and who's willing to help as many people as possible, right? So
yeah. In the beginning, sorry, Nolan, in the beginning, you realize or you feel, this is how you feel. And this is the most important thing about everything, is that your feelings control everything. Because if I feel fearful, if I feel scared, if I feel I can't, that feeling has such power within you, in any person, that it actually stops you from doing what you should be doing for yourself.
wow.
And that's a very important statement that I just made, because that's where emotion comes, by believing. If you know, I can overcome this, it gives you power. Just saying it, just saying, I can do this. It gives you almost like I'm saying it and I literally feel like there's a gush in my system, because I know I can. But if I say, you know what, I just can't, just saying that feels so heavy. It feels so heavy that it literally pulls you down and stops you. So remember that emotion is the most important thing here in whatever we say. And that is what I deal with, is the emotion, because that is the stopper. That is the roadblock. That is the barricade in the middle of nowhere. That's what stops you, is your emotion. Just think of anything. Just give a bland example of, I'm putting a 0.5 meter high wall there, and I'm telling you, you know what, the only way you're going to get across is if you jump. And what you're going to tell me, oh no, I got arthritis, I can't jump, it's too sore, I'm going to fall. You know, it's too painful. The thought of pain gives you an emotion of, I'm going to get hurt, it's just a heavy feeling. And you almost, what's the right word? You stop yourself. You believe that I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the word is at the tip of my tongue. I can't even get it, but you simply realize you just can't do it. And you won't. You wouldn't even bother trying until somebody tries to tell you, listen, it's just a short while. You know, change the script. It's just a short while. It's not as bad as you think. You know, you don't have to jump like a high jumper. You can go over the wall and let's do it step by step and get over it. You don't have to do the whole jump clear and clean.
Yeah.
Yes, if we trip and we fall, you know what? You can get up. We need to note that we have possibilities of doing it in a different way. We don't always have to do it the way it has always been done. This is what I try to get through to people. You've always done it the same way over and over and over. And I'll use this as an example. In my last relationship where the physical, verbal, emotional abuse happened, I allowed, and that's a very important word here as well, I allowed another human being to control my mind and the way I feel.
Wow.
I allowed him to tell me where to go, what to do, what time all of those things. I allowed that. I didn't realize at the time that I've given my self, my permission, my authority to somebody else. I didn't realize it until it became so bad that I realized I had no control over Maggie. Maggie was not Maggie anymore. Maggie was this other human being played out. That was difficult for me, because how do I say I can't do this anymore? How do I say I don't want to be in this anymore? Then fear sets in. Fear, along with a whole lot of other emotions. What is he going to do to me? You know, is he going to raise his hand to me again? Do I really want to put myself through all of that? And you think, then you stop yourself, because that fear is so heavy. It's like, what if he hits me? What if I end up getting hurt? And that plays in your mind. Hurt plays in your mind, because then it's pain. How am I going to enjoy the pain? What are other people going to think? There's another one. What does society think about this whole thing? So, you know what I do? Go back in that shell, be that old Maggie that's being controlled, and I stay there, not realizing that that person has now controlled you and makes you believe that you cannot do this or you should not do this. And then you're stuck. But when you realize enough is enough, I do not want this. I do not deserve this. I deserve better. And you say, you know what? This is what I did. And this is my journey. Eventually, after 8 years times 365 days, that's like over 3,000 some odd days, I decided I would rather die by his hand. I will get out.
Wow.
I don't care. I will leave, because no fear, no pain is worse than being in a situation that I was in already. To stay there, but getting out would give you my peace and my freedom, which was better, which was easier for me. Sitting in fear or getting peace and freedom. That's how I made my choice. It's a hard choice. Listen, I'm saying it like it sounds so easy, but it's not. And hence, I'm here to help those that are in situations like that, because there's tools and tricks that you can use. But the point is, you need to make that decision. I can jump over that wall. I will make it. So what if I scrape my toe? I can just put a Band-Aid and just carry on.
Yeah.
But try. Don't allow something to always control you when you know you can be better than where you are.
Wow.
Just shift the bar all the way.
Yeah, there's so many golden takeaways from exactly what you said. But importantly is also, when did you realize that you needed to get out? At around what age did this happen? Because remember, a lot of us that come from a close-knit society, we don't really have the support system, right? Sometimes all alone. And you've actually told our listeners that everything lies within you. The control lies within you. You shouldn't be giving your control
Correct.
to anyone else.
Anyone else.
Because of circumstances and conditioning, and more bothered about what society or the community will think about us, we become too embarrassed and we stay in this cocoon and we just live through it every single time, right? So,
sure.
I'm really interested in the age that you came to this realization. And this is purely because you look at what's going on in the world now. There's so much of gender-based violence. There's so many things that are going on in this world that can help, like, even this younger generation snap out of this and let them realize that, hey, you can say no, you can stop it.
No, 100%. And like I said, the big thing here also is society. Who creates this embarrassment, the shame, you need to do it a certain way? Is society. Society is us, you, me, and everybody else in it, okay? That we have this assumption the old way is always the right way, and that is how we need to keep it going. I am a society rule breaker. I don't go with the grain of society. I go against society because the way it's always been done just does not work anymore. For me, that's what happened. So when I was 4, and I'm going to take you through this journey purely from the question. When I was 4, I was too little to do anything by myself, okay? So obviously one would say, this has happened to me, and, this is how it panned out. I was molested, or somebody hurt me while I was asleep. I was awakened and all of that. But then society, here again, old generation, okay? You and I come from the 70s, right? In those years, you don't speak about things like this, and especially in an Indian community.
True.
But now it's every community, okay? But in the Indian community, you never spoke about this. Why? Number one, it's a girl. It's embarrassing. Who's going to take her? It's a whole suitor marriage thing that happened in the old days. I can't talk about this because, what would people think of me? So things were just shoved under the carpet and left alone. And here you are, a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old having to face a perpetrator every single time. Was not fun, was not easy. But Maggie had to just suck it up and go with the flow. But I created, like I said, I started building this concrete wall, hey, from 4, and it started. Then in school, I tried to be as normal as possible, but there were boundaries that I set along the way. Close contact, people coming near me, I didn't allow them. I didn't hug people. I grew up not hugging my parents, not kissing my parents or anybody else around me. I never allowed anyone near me. Okay. 15, when I was raped, I was coming from school, and here a good family friend decided, went past, saw me walking with my heavy bags. And in those days, everything was on your shoulders, on your back, walking home, and, come, I'll give you a lift home. You know the person, you're naive. You don't expect something to happen. So you get in the car. And the next thing is like, you know what, home is not this way. No, I'm taking you somewhere else. And doors are locked. How do I get out? I don't have control. So, and then that debacle happened. And I did not say anything. Why? Nothing happened the first time. Nobody did anything the first time. What's going to happen the second time? Yeah. Society, embarrassment, shame. So that wall became a thicker wall. Okay. And then I finished school. I just carried on with life. I got married at the age of just after 21, about 21 years old. I got married. I had a beautiful marriage until my husband passed away due to medical circumstances. And then lo and behold, I got into a relationship thereafter with the last person. That relationship lasted about 8 years. Okay. The moment I realized that I needed to get out of this relationship, and I voiced my opinion of getting out, or my wanting to get out, that's when the abuse started. Because there's a element of, I control you, you cannot go anywhere. If I see you with anyone else, and then that would be the death of you. Threats and all sorts of things started. And so lo and behold, I stuck with it. And every time it got worse, I wanted to get out. And every time it escalated. So we're talking about an age gap between 39 and 2 years ago now. That's what, 46.
Oh.
So at the age of 46, I got out of that relationship.
Wow,
so yes, it sounds far away, but it sounds like, much older, but who decides what age enough is enough?
Yeah.
You do. So I could have done something earlier, but I did not have the ability to do it. I was not strong enough to do it then. So I did it now at the age of 46 because I was able to. I felt I was more equipped. I felt I was strong. I realized I was stronger because I've done so many things along the way to better myself, to grow, doing things that would way I do things. How I get to where I want to be. And eventually, like I said, enough is enough. And I just took the plunge and did what I had to do. But age is not of a consequence here. Yeah. I need people to understand that even if you're 70 years old in an abusive relationship, if you need to get out, you can get out. It's up to you. Age, the age that you are in has got nothing to do with it.
Correct.
The problem is, how long are you willing to bear those consequences? How long are you willing to be in that situation? That is up to you.
Yeah.
The sad thing about this is society, community, the people we live with, the very people we live with. family are the biggest problem, are the biggest judges of character, of what happens with you, of the type of person you should be in accordance to their perception of what things need to be. That is wrong.
Exactly.
We need to learn to respect people. We need to understand that everybody doesn't have the same strength, the same endurance, the same ability, the same understanding as you do.
True.
And that is the sad part. Sorry, I don't know if this whole thing is going in a different direction, but I guess it needs to be said the way it is.
It's perfect. You're picking on so many vital points that a lot of us come from a place where we allowed society to dictate who we should be versus us telling us who we should be. And that's the problem with societies and small knit communities, is we are too focused on what others think about us instead of focusing on what we should do as people.
Control, exactly. And this is where control comes in. Controlling doesn't mean controlling others. Controlling means controlling me in my mind of who I am.
Yeah.
Who I am is so important. I am not somebody, I should never be the textbook version of who I need to be.
Correct.
Or who a person should be. Remember, we're taking education here from a school perspective and education of life and putting them together and deciding who do I need to be. You cannot be a textbook version of a person. Never. You are going to be a unique being. This is why we are all so different and all unique, right? You are going to be an absolutely unique person. Why? Because what you learned, what you've been through, and what you believe you should be put together becomes who you are. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that is what makes you unique. That is what gives you purpose. That is what drives you to become who you want to become. And every day, every second of every day, you become better and better and better at what you do. That works towards becoming better and better to what or who you need to be and who you are. That is how you strive to become, not according to competition into, against somebody else or be like a celebrity or a sports star. No, you are you. You will always ever be you, never a replica of somebody else. Never. No matter how hard you, and this is where a lot of stress comes in. Parents, parents are listening. This is where we as parents have the wrong, I would say wrong, the wrong perception of what we expect from our children. What do we tell our children? Oh, you know what? You are not like that person's child. The child will never be like that person's child. Stop. This is where stress comes in. Anxiety comes in for kids because my mom and my dad thinks I'm not good enough because I'm not like them. They are always comparing me to somebody else. That needs to end. It needs to stop. Identify your child for who they are and what they are. Embrace the good that they have. Teach them, make them learn from every bad experience they go through. I have a 17-year-old. She's going to go on to 18. And the conversation I had with her was, she said to me, Mom, what am I supposed to do when I finish school? And I said to her, whatever you like. Oh, but everybody's going to university or college when they finish school. I said, but you don't have to. I said, you don't have to do anything that anybody else is doing. Why? Because you are a different person to everyone else. You are unique. You are an individual. You have your own mind. You have your own goals. If you don't have a goal right now, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You're no different than anyone else in society. You do not have to live in a false zone. One day you are going to realize that you can go to work, you can try and do whatever you be an entrepreneur if that's it. Decide who you are first. What do I have whatever I experience that I need to contribute to this world, to people around me, you will find your passion there, guaranteed. Find what you really love to do and do it. Why? Every day you wake up, you need to wake up and say, I'm ready for this day because I have a gift that I need to use to help somebody else. All of us are in a service industry in life because what happens to you happens to someone else, and we are placed in places in front of people because we need to help them and do a service. So no matter what job you do, what vocation you're in, it's a service. That's who we are. We service others. So I say to her, you wake up every morning, you get up, and you must be happy to go to what you do every day.
Right.
It must bring you joy. And that you must do. Don't do something just because. Because I know tons of people get up and go, gosh, do I really have to go to work today? I'm not happy in that place, or the environment's just ugly. It's not the point. You need to be happy doing what you're doing. If you have joy and peace and happiness within you, you can do anything. You can overcome anything. And that's a guarantee. You know that for yourself. If you didn't drive yourself with that passion, with that urgency to be better, to get better, Nolan, you wouldn't even be doing this conversation with me today.
Totally.
Because you know what happened with you with COVID. So there's always a drive. It's like almost like an ignition that you need to turn the key within yourself and just start up your engine. When you're brave enough to do that, you can do anything.
Totally. It's such an important point you make to parents. So parents that are listening out there as well, you need to realize. So firstly, congratulations on great parenting, Maggie. I like what you said.
Thanks.
So parents need to realize that allow your children to follow their goals, not your goals. Because the moment you start pushing them to follow the goals that you want as a parent, what's going to happen? They go to university, they'll spend about a year and a half, and they'll drop off. Why? Because they're chasing your goals and not their own goals. So goals are so important for even adults as well. We should live a purposeful life. Like you said, when you wake up every single morning, you must be wanting to get to that job. You must be wanting to do what you're passionate about, what you're obsessed about. That's what goals is really all about. So allow yourself to live a purposeful life. So important.
100%. I, as a little girl, knew what I wanted to do in my life. I knew my purpose as a young child. I knew I needed to help heal people.
Yeah.
It was engraved in me, because from a little girl, I always wanted to be a nurse. Okay. So nursing was everything to me. And that's what I became, a nurse. Why? I needed to help people. But in order to help the people, it was also helping me. When I was healing people, I was also healing me in that process. I always knew what I wanted to do. But that healing took me into the next level to do what I'm doing now, helping people holistically. Now it's mind, body, and spirit that you're healing. And this is where I am. I love what I do. I can talk for hours. It doesn't stop me. You can meet me in the parking lot, at a pay counter, anywhere. You can have a conversation with me and it will just flow. I love what I do. My daughter says I talk too much. So, but it is what it is. Mommy, you're always talking to people and telling them so much. I said, because it is meant for them. That is why they were placed in front of me. There's a message for you, so I'll give it to you. I love what I do.
Yeah. So
that's what it is.
I learned this from one of my gurus that I studied with, and you can actually relate this to your daughter as well, or tell her this, that whoever you come in cross contact with, leave everyone you come in contact with an impression of increase. Let them know 100%. That they are valuable and they feel better as well.
Oh, 100%.
So Maggie, I want to go back to one point that you mentioned, right? And this is on my mind, right? A lot of people, and especially females, stay in relationships because of security. And I think this is right? Because people need to realize that staying in a relationship because of security, and be it financial security, it's not okay. Because then you're going to be living in a relationship that could be damaging from a feeling point of view. So my bet is, or guess is, don't stay in a relationship because of financial wonders or financial magic. Now, what's your thoughts on that, on staying in a relationship like that?
Staying in a relationship for money, to be in a home, absolutely not. And this is so important to me because I've had so many women that said to me, I need to stay. I have to stay. Remember something, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to help you achieve what you want to achieve. However, in what we are discussing today, the reality is each of us have strength and power to become somebody. Become somebody, I mean, take control, become powerful, and do things for yourself and become self-sufficient. Problem in society is, again, shame, embarrassment. Because what will people think of me? What are they saying? If I leave home now, where do I go to? I'm sure you have family. There must be one person out there that is willing to help you. It's not that you need to just stay there and be complacent and not do anything. You can do so much. There's people like us, you, myself, and many other coaches out there that can help you get back on your feet. Get back on your feet, I mean, realize exactly who you are. What do you want? What value do you have? Okay, you don't have to be perfect, but you have something within you that you can just go out there. Look, people think a street sweeper is an embarrassing job. Let me tell you, it's not. It earns you income to help you grow. Whatever little you have, you will grow with it. You don't have to have a college or a university degree to get into any simple job that will give you some form of income.
Exactly.
You've got skill. I'm sure everybody's got a gift of doing something. I met a lady that just out of the blue decided, no, I'm going to start making hats. She started making hats. She started teaching other people to make hats. That is her business. You have a skill within you. You have a gift. Use it to the best of your ability to become your support. You have support as people, and you have support as your inner strength to find what you need to do in order to get out. Two things. For me, it's either yes or no. There's no in between. Mm-hmm. If you want help and you want to get out of something or a bad relationship or abusive relationship, and you really want to, my take is you will do everything and anything to get out and become somebody. Yet again, it's what you allow to control you. It's what you believe about yourself. If you don't want to get out, then you need to start changing yourself to suit the consequences that happen in your home. Why I'm saying that is I had a couple of people that said to me, Maggie, no, I cannot leave because I have nobody and I have no income and I have children. What do I do? How do I support them? They wanted to stay. They were happy to stay there, but changed where they don't provoke the partner to do what they do. And obviously that doesn't work for long, okay? Because eventually things are going to happen within the home. But you need to realize that as a woman, you have rights. As a woman, if you are in an abusive relationship, it's the law works for you, not against you. Something called a protection order. If you are being abused in any form, you get a protection order. That protection order gives you the right to either be in your home and remove the person, your partner, if he's very abusive, but still pay for your rent, sort your kids out, and do those things. The law works for you, provided it is legit, woman. Provided it's legit. Please don't make up stories and create problems for nothing. But you don't stay in a relationship because of security, bottom line. You have the ability to grow. You have the ability to do things for yourself. We are not put here to rely on others. We are here to grow as individuals and do things for yourself.
True.
So staying in a relationship for security, for me, is an absolute no-no.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
No, you're 100% right. And we, just to the listeners, we're not advocating that you should just leave any relationship as well. There's relationships that you can work on. It's when you and realize that the relationship cannot be worked on and it's just one-sided, then those are signs that you need to get out.
Correct.
Because in a relationship,
and yet again, seek help. Seek help and speak to, people like me or you and whoever else that, listen, there's my situation. What do you think? What are the possibilities? What do I do? How can I see this from a different perspective? And the aim for us is not always to break a home. We make a home as much as we can.
Right.
But the thing is, if there's circumstances that are beyond your control, then obviously you would take action. But every person, housewives as well, you have a gift within you. Seek it. Do something on the side. Become fully independent.
Yeah.
Become independent.
True. No, I like what you said there as well, right? So, listeners, I did mention to you, you better keep your tissues ready as well, because Maggie's story is just so inspirational. It's the first time I'm hearing her full story. And I know you've been through a lot, right, already. And, share with our listeners, what does one need to do to change and become better? Maybe just some quick tip around that.
Well, number one is know who you are. Why do I say know who you are? There's a person that everybody sees every day that we put out in the world. We put it there because people need to see, Maggie's, she's a full person. She's got her ducks in a row. She knows exactly what she wants. She knows why she wants it. But inside Maggie, nobody knew what was going on. Nobody knew the lost Maggie. Because Maggie was like, Maggie can't swim. This is real, right? Maggie can't swim. So you put me in the deep end of the pool, I'm going to be like drowning, okay? I'm going to be gasping. That's the Maggie that was inside the shell that people didn't see. So you need to know who you are. I know who Maggie is. Maggie is a bubbly, happy-go-lucky, joyful person that loves people, loves company. I like to do things, but I also like me time, okay? So, but I'm a happy person. I love my freedom. I love to make choices for myself. I love my independence. I love my peace. So just those 4 words on its own will tell you that this is me. Yeah. This is the person that I want to be. I want to be able to make my own choices. I want to be able to speak to anybody. If my phone rings, I must not be afraid to say, oh, I'm so scared to answer that phone because what is he going to say? Who are you talking to? I want to be trusted and I want to trust. Knowing who you are gives you your identity. It tells you who this is me.
Yeah.
What you see is me. I am a honest, outspoken, truthful. I am authentically and I'm real. There's no side gate about Maggie. What you see is what you get. And that is who you need to know who you are, or why you need to know who you are. Because if you know who you are, you know what direction you need to take to become you, become that better person all the time. And when you know who you are, you know exactly what you want. And when you know what you want, there's your goal. There's your purpose. Now you know where you need to drive. It's like driving your car and looking in your rearview mirror and trying to go forward. How do you do that? You're going to crash every time. You're going to hurt others along the way. So you need to know where you're going. You need to know why you're even going there.
Exactly.
So knowing who you are is extremely important. You need to know. Sit, think by yourself, wherever you are. Take 5 minutes every day to jot down who is the real me. And write those words. Don't have to write a whole thesis, just one word: independent, free, happy, joyful, peace. All the things that you want to be. You know who you are. That person is inside there, dying to come out. Identify with that person. Then you need to know, what do I really want? And then comes the how. How do I do this?
Yeah.
What steps do I need to make around me so that I can achieve those things?
I love
That's really important. That's the start. It's always the start.
and finding yourself is so important because everything starts from within you. So you need to understand
Correct.
you want to do certain things in life as well. And we all have the
Correct.
ability. We just need to get out of this conditioned mindset that we have to be reliant on other people and not trusting ourselves as well.
Exactly. And that's where boundaries come. Because if you know who you are, you know what you want, and you know how you're going to get it, you set your boundaries. Because then you don't allow people in that space. Because that's your space.
Yeah.
And it's important to set boundaries, because then if you don't set boundaries after you do that, then people are just going to come in and control you again. And you're going to go back to square one. It's very easy to get back to where you was.
So, you mentioned boundaries a few times. So boundaries is exactly what Maggie is mentioning, but boundaries can also be limiting the negative energy that comes into your space, because a lot of people get negativity that's going in the world. And this comes about when people get together and they're in the small groups and they start this trait of gossiping and bad-mouthing the other person without really understanding. So boundaries really, really is important. You also mentioned that I know you lost control at a lot of times, but what's really impressing me is at 46 years old, you took control back of your life, right? So this is so vital to people, because we have a lot of full-grown adults in South Africa, for example, that are still stuck where they are and they're afraid to move forward and stuff. They don't know how to take control of their lives. So such an important point, that age is not a factor at all. It's who you want to be.
Not at all. Correct. 100%. You have, which I think will go into another arena or another level, is when you know who you are, you know what you want, you know how you're going to get there. The next thing is, what do I allow? What choices do I make?
The choices, right? The choices you make. Such an important.
What choices do I make? Because, that's everything. The entire thought. Let me say this before we continue. Every thought you think creates a feeling and an emotion within you. That feeling and emotion becomes your attitude and your behavior. That attitude and behavior becomes the result of what you speak, of what you show, of what you do. That result becomes the response of the receiver back to you. So if I give you arrogance, guess what's coming right back at you? An arrogant response. If I'm giving joy, guess what's coming back? You're going to get a joyful response. So you are always in one or the other situation. You become the responder or you become the respondent. Okay? That's how it's going to work. So if I'm speaking to you now, Nolan, you're obviously going to respond most times in the way that I am giving you this. So whoever's the starter of the conversation, that is how it flows. But I have a choice in this. Now, if you say to me, Nolan, I'm sorry, I'm going to take you back to that, and I can have a different attitude because my thought process is different. So you can be relaxed and, in a joyful mood. But I come in a mood of, I'm not having a good day today, Nolan. I'm sorry. So you say to me something nice, hey, Max, you're actually looking nice today, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just not in the mood for that. It's a choice that I'm making. It's a choice of how I'm thinking. It's the choice of my attitude. It's the choice of my emotion. That is how I choose to respond. So who's in control?
Yeah.
Me.
Exactly.
Always. It's me. It's always me. Everything you do, it's up to you. I teach accountability and responsibility. Everything that has happened to me in my past, present, and future is as a result of me allowing that to happen. I always stand accountable and responsible for whatever's happened to me. Why? Because I allowed it.
Yeah.
Yes, I was 4. I couldn't run away. So it happened. At 15, I couldn't do anything about it. It happened. I bear the responsibility because I couldn't do anything about it. I allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
It's not a person, it's not a blame thing. We need to understand that. I hope I'm making myself clear enough. It's not about blaming yourself. It's being accountable. When you're accountable and you become responsible for what has happened, then you know that, you know what, I don't need to be so hard on myself. I can still try again. And try and try and try until you have no other avenue. And when you have no other avenue, guess what? Another avenue will be created. How? You have people around you that are willing to help. All you got to do is pick up the phone and ask for help.
True.
You don't have to go to family. Let me tell you, strangers are better than family to help you in certain things. Okay? That's just the rule of life. But you have a choice. You have a choice every single time to do the things you need to do, to say the things the way, or say the things you want to say, to react and respond the way you think you need to respond. You can easily change an angry situation. Easily. It's how you decide to respond.
Yeah.
You don't have to take a punch at somebody that punched you. We know generally when guys are together and say, but this guy, threw the first punch and I had to react. No, you don't have to react.
Correct.
You have a choice to walk away. If the person keeps enticing you to do something, you don't need to respond that way. You have a choice to walk away. Listen, I'm not in the mood. Or give me 2 minutes. Use this, I usually. Give me 2 seconds. I just need to go to the loo. When you break that chain, when you break that, it's like electricity. The moment you switch off, the lights go off. If you break that circuit, that current can't run anymore. That person will have time, even if it's 20 seconds or a minute, they have time to think, cool down. If people are around them, they'll shut them down for you. Change what you need to do. Change your response. You have the choice. You have the ability. Change. I usually say you are the flow. You create that flow. You change that flow. You decide. You.
Exactly.
It's always about you.
And it's so important as well, because I'm sure you know a lot of people that are, I call them whiners, people that are complaining all the time, right? They're in control of making up that complaint. Like, for example, if I tell somebody I'm feeling so sick, I'm feeling so down, I'm feeling depressed, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to feel depressed, I'm going to feel down, versus
100%.
me translating it into something positive. So, you are in control of your words, your thoughts, and your actions. So critical for
very important
as well.
Very important that what you just said, words.
Yeah.
The meaning of words, which brings us, I love words. And because the meaning of words for me is not the same for you or anyone else. The way I would interpret a word is not the same for everybody. So it's very important the choice of words that you use. No sentence needs to be immaculate. I myself make mistakes in my sentences, but I opt to stop myself and physically change the words that I use when I have to. And I will say, sorry, that's not how I meant to say it. I'm saying it like this. I do it deliberately because the words you use are so important, because words are triggers. Words are used as triggers. It'll offset something in your unconscious mind and brings back a memory or a thought forward. And that creates the emotion, it creates your attitude, it creates your behavior, and that's how you respond.
Yeah, exactly.
So words are super important. Don't just mouth yourself off. Think before you talk. Think before you talk, because it is so important. And understand what you are going to say, because that person is never going to interpret it the way you think it is.
Correct.
Unless you're saying it the way you need to say it.
True.
And that person understands how you want to come across. You need to have clarity. You need to create clarity when you're speaking to people. And this is how miscommunication happens. This is how arguments happens. This is how marriages turn sour, relationships turn sour, work environments go ugly, because the manner in which you say it is not explained.
Yeah.
It sounds annoying, it sounds pedantic, it sounds frustrating, but you've got to do it if you want to get the right result.
True. No,
You have to.
Fully agree with you. And, while we're on the topic of words, so failure is a word that I stopped using a long time ago. I prefer using the word learning. So what's your view?
No such word for me.
Yeah.
No such word for me. There's no such thing as failure for me, because what is failure? Failure is society here again created failure as a bad word. You are a failure. You are not worth it. You're not good enough. Why? Failure is an indicator for me. Just like you go in your car, you want to turn left or right, you put your indicator on to turn. Not putting your indicator on and turning is cause for failure. Why? Someone's going to crash into you because you're not telling them what you are doing. So the indicator, failure is an indicator word for me, or an indicator, or works as an indicator for me, because if I don't do something right and it did not go the right way, people class that as failure. It's not failure. Stop looking at it as a bad word. Failure literally is just an area of correction.
Yeah.
An area that you need to re-look at, refocus upon, realign, readjust, redo. Do it this time so that the areas that went wrong, you do it better the next time.
Correct.
That's all failure is. It's not because you need to punish somebody. It's not because you're unworthy. It's not because you're worthless. It's not because you're not good enough. It's just that area needs more attention or needs something to be done differently. Look at it from a different perspective, always. Doesn't always have to be the same way. It's just telling you, look, you've done it like this all along, so let's change something.
Yeah.
Lighten it up a bit, because you never fail. Failure is only feedback. It's an area that's telling you or giving you feedback of what you need to change to get it right the next time.
Correct.
Let me change that. Not getting it right, doing it better for the next time. Because you're always doing it better and better and better and better. And what does that lead to? Perfection. Your kind of perfection.
Yeah.
Not perfection according to the book, not perfection according to Maggie's views or somebody else's views. It's your perfection. My perfect, your perfect is never going to be the same, ever. Because my perfection is what I created to be. It's what I want. It's how I see it. I'm not a makeup girl, but for me, this is perfect for me. Why? Because I don't need any more. I'm fine with the way I am. Perfection needs to make you happy. within yourself. Perfection doesn't, it's not, perfection is not the end.
Yeah.
It's not an end word. You never reach perfection. Perfection is getting better and better and better at what I do every single day.
Correct. Like waking up the next day and telling yourself that you want to be better today than you was yesterday. That's how you grow.
Not I am better than I was yesterday.
Correct.
I am better than I was yesterday. Because wanting, in certain sentences, having to want to do something means I need to still do it, but it's like you almost need like a push to get it. I will is like I will do it now. It's an immediate thing. It's an owned thing. Yes, you give it attention, you give it ownership, you take it for yourself. Because don't need to want to do something. Then there's time, there's space. It creates a gap. Will means no gap. Do it. Just do it. So who you are, there's a sentence for you. Knowing who you are, knowing who you truly are, allows you to know what you want, allows you to know how you're going to get it, allows you to set your boundaries and achieve what you want to achieve. Along that way, you make choices, you take responsibility, you become accountable, you allow what you want, and you disallow what you don't want. It brings you to a place whether I fail or don't fail, I will always pick myself up. Why? I need to become better and better and better at what I do. And I will be the perfect version of me possible that I want for me. That's everything we spoke about.
And that's so true, right? Because it's again, it's the words that really matter. You know, the word versus the word I'm learning. Such a big difference when you just change the words around. So words are like really important to all of us, right? Such a critical. So you know, the other point I want to touch on as well, because I can see, you know, a lot of us have become who we are because we've stepped up regarding our values. We've learned a bit more about ourselves. We've learned how to become more ethical, how to become more authentic, how to be honest, how to be respectful. So what are values like to you? I mean, your whole life journey up until now, or till the age of 46, has taught you a lot of values along the way, right? So what does values mean to you, coming from a close-knit community as well? Because I find values lacking with a lot of people in the world.
Values has different levels. Values are not according to what others want. Values start within you first. It is determined by what is important to you as an individual. So your values are, you will grasp on your values from what society's given you, what your personal journey is, everything else about you and around you. So it's beliefs as a person that what makes me, which takes me back to the same thing. You probably find that or think that I'm repeating myself, but it goes back to, who am I? What do I deserve? Because if I am able to value myself, if I am able to know what I am worth, then nothing will be able to tell me better than that.
Totally.
Your attitude that you adopt for you matters. It determines your value. Because if you think I am not worthy, because guess what? You will allow other people to treat you like you are unworthy.
Yeah.
You know, if you Culture creates values, but that's other people's values. It's other people's values. You need to know exactly who you are to determine what you are worth. What do I want? How do I see this? What governs me? What is my behavior like? How do I want to behave? How do I want people to perceive me to be? All of that put together. Value is one word with multiple things within it. It's a pot that holds the things in it. It's the pot that holds the sand, and you are the seed that's growing in there, trying to come out into this plant or tree or whatever you want to call it. That is what it is. Value is the pot that holds the sand together, that's cushioning you in the middle. So if you want to grow, guess what? The pot can't have holes.
I love that.
Then the gravy is going to come out. Okay? The gravy is going to come out. Honestly, the gravy is going to come out.
Yeah.
So that pot needs to be a firm pot to hold the sand so that the water can come through so that you can grow out. You know, okay, a pot as in a curry pot, and then there's a pot as in a plant pot, right? But you get the gist of what I'm saying. The thing is, values is what holds you together as a person. It's a broad word with many little facets in between. If I can behave properly, if I know who I am, if I know what I'm worth, if I know what I want, if I know how to get it, that builds my value. Respect, honor, dignity. All those things become part of your value.
Yeah.
This is what we teach people. This is what we were taught. But bearing in mind, we're not always taught the right way.
Correct, yeah.
Because now values right now is as a result of what others do and assume for you to do or perceive for you to do or expect what you do. Let me use the right word. Society expects you to do things a certain way.
Yeah.
And the moment you decide you want to break free from that, you become ostracized or, you know, like put in a little corner to say, Maggie's naughty, she doesn't listen. She doesn't do the things that we like to do or the way we like to do it. So you become an entity on your own. But you know what? For me, different is good.
Yeah.
Always good.
No, so true.
You don't have to go.
Yeah. So one of the things I learned is that, you know, what others think about me is really none of my business. And I stick by it. I stand by it. You know, when I think about values, I'm teaching values at the moment, but I'm teaching people how to take their values and connect that to their purpose, because they got to find that connection in there. So as we about to start wrapping up, Maggie, you know, it's been such an inspirational journey with you on today's show. I want to thank you so much and let you know that we're grateful for having you on our inspirational journeys through life with Straight Talk with Nolan today. And is there any last tips or last inspiring words that you want our audience to hear? Anything inspiring? Here's your opportunity.
Just there's a saying that I created is the risk that you are so afraid to take could be the very one thing that will change your entire life. I'll say that again. The risk that you are so afraid to take now could be the very one risk that will change your entire life forever. Do not be afraid to change. Do not be afraid to take that step. If it's going to give you peace, if it's going to give you your freedom, don't be afraid to take that risk. Fear is also an indicator, just like failure. It's an emotional indicator to tell you, if I'm fearful of this, how can I overcome my fear? Look at it from a different perspective. Why am I fearful? Fear is something that has not happened yet. You've created it in your mind to think that the wrong thing is going to happen. The worst is going to happen. But guess what? If you think the worst is going to happen, say to yourself, what if the best will happen? What's stopping the best thing to happen? So every risk you take, never be afraid to take that risk. Calculated risk, but never be afraid to take that risk. And whatever you do, anywhere at any time, do it with passion, do it with drive, never with arrogance.
Very well said.
Keep that always in mind. Never do it with arrogance. Do it with purpose, do it with drive. Be assertive about what you want to do for you, not for anyone else in the world. Whatever you do, you're doing it for you to become a better version of you.
Totally. So such profound words as well, to all the listeners out there. It's so amazing just to hear these words, because don't be afraid to take the leap, but take a calculated leap as well, because fear, like Maggie has said, is false evidence appearing real. It's exactly that.
100%. Exactly.
Yeah. So don't allow fear to control your life, because when you do that, you are going to be ending up in a depressive state or in an unhappy state as well. So,
and what people studied on, and what people generally say is, oh gosh, I should have just done that.
Yeah.
But remember, fear stopped you. You allowed fear to stop you. You allowed things to stop you. You allowed things to happen. Yeah. Allowing is you. Control is allowing. It's you. Bottom line, you have the final say in everything that happens to you.
So don't allow outside circumstances to control who you are as a person. That's so important. So, Maggie, well said. So very well said. So tell me, how can our listeners contact you? How can they get in touch with you?
Okay.
How can they get some training from you, some coaching from you?
Cool. You can go onto my website. It's www.believeinc. That's inc.co.za. Or you can email me on info@believeinc.co.za. And you can WhatsApp me as well on 084 526 2525. My Facebook page is Maggie.Naidoo.5055. That's where you'll find me. And Instagram, it's NLP_Mind Mastery. Yeah. Those are the basic places that you can find me. I generally will answer you almost immediately most times. But if I don't, I definitely will come back to you. That's unless I am with somebody, coaching. I have a couple of online courses available on my website that you can purchase, or you can just book your one-on-one coaching or corporate coaching with me.
Perfect. So we will be sharing the information as well on the podcast links, and there will be text where you can connect with Maggie directly. So to all the listeners out there, it's such an inspirational story, and I'm sure you can resonate with this. So once again, I want to thank you everyone for listening. Be sure to share the show with your friends and family. And as I always say, people resonate with real stories like Maggie's. So please follow our social media as well. My handle is StraightTalkWithNolan, and subscribe to our channels. Stay connected to us. Our stories are real and inspirational, as you've heard from Maggie as well. And at this point, I'd like to wish you best wishes on your journey. This is your host, Nolan Pillay from Straight Talk with Nolan. So thank you very much for tuning in and listening.